Good evening. Thank you for joining us for part three of service. And this part, we're going to talk about the process of identifying what you will do as part of your contribution to the upcoming society that will exist as we evolve to a higher state of consciousness, a higher understanding of how to cooperate, and an understanding of how to create a world in which we all may live for free. Service merely stands for sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. This is what we all will do in the future. And so today, we want to take a look at how you will earn your keep, so to speak, by contributing what you have to offer in terms of skills, talents, and abilities. This is the way of the future. And we want you to enjoy what you do for a living. This is much different than working that job that you hate for pay. In the world we are creating, you will do the work that you enjoy, the work that expresses your creative talents, the work that you would right now do for absolutely free because you enjoy it. Well, now, this work will get you what you need through this system of service. We'll be right back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
In this six-part series, we're preparing for that which is to come, that which has been predicted, that which many people on the planet right now are aware is evolving, and that is a new way of existing. Our present day economic systems are collapsing, and there are many who are in a state of panic. But it's not necessary to panic because there are also those who are getting the inspiration to create something different. That's why we have the emergence of cryptocurrency. Of course, this is not another cryptocurrency, but if you're involved in it, that's a good thing. That is an alternative to what at some point will no longer be in your best interest. And that is a financial system in which the means of exchange are being withheld from those who wish to honestly exchange. There are many who are getting the inspiration to develop bartering and exchange systems so that people can eat, have a place to stay, have clothing to wear, ways to barter for what you need. And if you're involved in those, that's good as well. People are getting the inspiration because those who are in tune understand that we are going through an evolution as a human species, evolving to a higher state of consciousness that is no longer fear-based. And when you're in fear, you can be controlled. And this is why, if you're constantly watching the news, you're constantly watching all the worst scenarios, all the violence, all of the hateful behavior that some people are engaging in, you're going to remain in a state of fear. And therefore, you will be easily manipulated into doing things that are not in your best interest. There are many who are aware that the earth is going through a split, a separation between those who are living in love and those who are living in fear. This is not a myth that's happening right in front of your face. It may be happening right to you right now. Now just think, you might have been planning to go to a party this past weekend, maybe you were going to go to a nightclub, and then something inside of you said, nah, I don't want to be around people who are drunk and fighting. That place has always got problems and people don't know how to behave, just have fun. So you didn't go. And then maybe you heard later a fight broke out. Maybe somebody was shot. I mean, these things happen. You go, oh, wow, that could have been me. No, it wouldn't have been. You know why? Because you're no longer on that frequency. You're no longer at that vibration where you enjoy chaos and mean behavior. And so you stay away from people who don't know how to act. And so you don't experience what they're experiencing. You could be going through the experience of separation right now, right there on the block where you live. There's somebody that's having an argument, somebody's having a fight, but you're not experiencing it. It's not in your house because that's not where you are vibrating. You are in a state of peace. Even though the chaos, the fight, the argument is happening right in your midst, you're not experiencing it. And this is how the separation is happening. We're right here on the same earth, but there will be as if there are two earths, because some people will be experiencing the heavenly atmosphere of love, joy, and peace, cooperation, harmony. No sense of danger, because the people around you are people of the state of mind, the state of heart, where they desire for the well-being of others. And so they're living according to systems that promote that. The people who are on that same low vibration of conflict, fighting, arguing, not sharing, trying to force people to do things they don't want to do, that vibration, those people will live together. They'll interact together. They'll continue hurting each other because they've chosen that, because they need to keep experiencing that until they learn to stop doing what creates that. It's not a punishment. It's a learning experience. But some of us on earth are ready to be promoted to the next grade. How many of you have been in school? And at the end of the year, well, you know, the class is ready to go on to the next grade. Fourth grade, you're ready to go on to fifth grade. But some people couldn't master their timetables. Some people couldn't master just sitting in their seat and paying attention. Some people couldn't stop being a source of agitation, and they're not ready to go into the next level where there's higher disciplines, higher information, a more expanded curriculum. They're not ready, so they remain behind in the fourth grade, and the rest of the class went on to the fifth. You know, people like that flunked. Some people flunked kindergarten, some flunked first grade. Well, right now, Earth is ascending to the next higher grade level where no negativity can exist. And there are civilizations all across the universe where people have simply learned how to cooperate. Earth is ascending to that next grade level where this is how people live. Those who have not learned how to live together in peace, they're going to flunk. They're going to remain on the old earth. Now, all the religions talk about the split, the change, all kinds of things have been described, but basically, this is what it is. The people who are ready to ascend to a higher level of being are going to experience it. The people who are still stuck on fighting, arguing, finding fault with everybody who physically looks different or has a different way of doing things, different culture and all that, they're going to stay where people keep fighting, keep withholding what others need, keep not cooperating. They're going to keep experiencing the hell that they have created until they choose to stop behaving in a way that is unloving and unkind and uncooperative. They're going to keep experiencing what they have created. And the rest of us who are ready to learn how to live in peace are going to enjoy the new earth. It's not a mystical thing, no lightning bolt from the sky. It's simply going to evolve as a way of being, just as it is right now, right in front of our faces. And it's got nothing to do with how much money you have. It's your state of being. Are you choosing love, peace, and joy? Or are you choosing conflict? It's your choice. But those who are choosing to ascend to the new earth, many are participating in new systems of interaction because the old systems that were based on fear, lack, exploitation, and oppression, those are collapsing. They will not exist. So we have put forth the understanding that the earth has always been free. No one owns the earth. That's why every other species lives on the earth and the communities interact. And everybody contributes. And that's how they survive. That is how human life will be for those who have achieved a higher consciousness where they simply share. Now, we've been indoctrinated with this monetary system for a long time, and so we need to go through some kind of transition from that because we're always afraid, well, they're not going to give me the same equal amount that I gave them, and it's not going to be fair. We're still holding on to that kind of fearful thinking. So the system of service gives us a transition to the state where we ultimately will learn how to cooperate and trust the way many species on our planet do right now. Just look at something as simple as the community of bees, a swarm of bees, and the organizational structure is so very coordinated. And if we could appreciate how bees organize their communities, we could understand that human beings have the same capacity. Now, bees make honey, and they're very organized, very systematized. There's a queen bee, and she has her responsibilities. It's not like a ruler that beats you or threatens you with jail or prison. This is someone who has the responsibility of repopulating the community. There are the worker bees, the females that are responsible for gathering the nectar from the flowers. And they pollinate the flowers. And the process of creating these honeycombs, very intricate, organized, and amazing. The mathematical precision with which they function. It's highly developed, highly organized. And when they wish to give directions, they do a little dance, and you think it's a dance, but it's actually giving directions. How far north, how far east, how far south, when they're giving directions as to where a flower patch is or any other information they wish to impart. Their system of cooperation is very intricate. The drones, the males, they are the ones that impregnate the queen who lays the eggs. And these honeycombs are there for the protection of the eggs of the queen. The honeycombs also hold the honey that is manufactured by the bees. And the females, the workers, they organize, they take care of the young, they assist in the creation of the honey, and everybody lives in harmony. Everybody is able to eat as well as enjoy life with the very organized system that bees have. And if we look at humanity, what makes us unable to simply do our jobs and make sure everybody eats. There's nothing stopping us. There's absolutely nothing stopping us from contributing to the whole of the society, no matter how intricate it is, our transportation systems, our farming systems, our construction systems, everything that we've invented and created and developed, it requires human participation to make it work. So why must we exclude some people from participation, exclude them from the means of exchange that allows them to get what they need, and create poverty and lack and suffering? Why are we doing that? And no one else is doing that. No other species is doing that. You look at something as simple as a pack of wolves. A pack of wolves, they have a very organized structure in which the leader, of course, is the undisputed head. Once the leader has established their dominance, the pack follows. They form formations when they prepare to track an animal, to hunt. There's the main couple, the leader of the pack and his mate. And wolves, when they mate for life. And they take care of the young. And if someone's injured, the pack brings them food, and they all work together to bring down whatever prey they are hunting. Everybody eats. Leaders first, then the rest, and then the children, but everyone eats and everyone understands their role. So they function as a collective. Their howling signals of calling the pack together, preparing for the hunt. All of the things that they do as an extended family is very organized. There's no reason for human beings to not be able to work together, to eat, to make sure all the children are taken care of, to parent cooperatively. There's no reason why we cannot do that. Absolutely none. Why is it that there are single parent households where someone has to struggle and put their children at risk for not having supervision because they don't have money to pay someone? How insane is that? Why are we not able to simply cooperate? Look at the organization of a group as simple as a flock of birds, a flock of geese. When they are striving to change location, perhaps headed south for the winter, they fly in formation and they take turns leading. And those behind, they're honking as a means of encouragement and urging on that one that must face that wind, because they're at the tip of the point. And if any of them gets injured, then two of them go down and escort that injured one down to make sure they're okay. So even as us human beings might try to shoot them out of the air, they even have a game plan to help that injured bird when they're flying as a flock, when they're building their nests collectively in the communities that they stop and take time to rest, and they plan and organize their routes. This flock of birds, very organized, synchronized, cooperative. So if these communities in nature are able to function collectively without a monetary system, don't we believe human beings have the same capacity? Yes, we do. And yes, we will. and those who are ready can start living according to service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. I'm Naima Latif, and we'll be right back after this quick break, so stay with us.
Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair.
Hey family, this is Charles Humphrey of MCH Publishing, and I'm here with Ashada, and we at the Soulful Chicago Book what?
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, slamming.
We getting down in Hyde Park. Just run it down, my sister. Just tell us, for the people, a little bit about what we're doing here today and why.
You know, this is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, and this month is very important. I feel like we don't give it the type of recognition that it needs, but beyond that, I do all things literary, and we have so many ancestors that have taken a tradition of writing and done great things. Well, we have those of us that are carrying on that tradition, and nobody knows about them until now. So the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is allowing us to tell our stories according to ourselves for our own benefit. And it's just beautiful. I mean, you could have been here today if you wasn't here, but if you were, it's been amazing. People came in consistently, children, and we have children's authors, we have nonfiction authors, we have fiction authors. This is really good. And it's about taking our own power in our own hands and doing what we do on the literary tip, though.
Right.
I got to work, but I can't help it. Everything going to school. Not just about bring my African shit like this. Bring it back.
Definitely a place you want to be, February 15th, the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair. And I'll be there. And I'll make sure you see and hear some great things that are happening, because we're learning how to appreciate all the gifts that we have been blessed to be born with and have developed. And when we share what we have, then everybody's life is enhanced. That's the way of the future, and the future is now. So let's take a look at something as simple as sharing your talents, because that's really what we used to do. And there are even some societies now that when they need something, people just participate. People participate in the collective work that needs to be done so that everybody can benefit. Even the Amish community. And the Amish community has long been independent in the way culturally they choose to work together. Instead of relying on large bank loans to finance their homes, they may cooperatively work together in the building of their homes, a barn raising, to have a party so you all help do parts of building the barn. These are ways of life that keep people from 30, 40, 50 years of debt to a bank financing something that if people just cooperated and build, it wouldn't cost anything. How are people building their homes in the past? They weren't getting a loan. They weren't taking 30 years and staying on a job they hated to pay for it so they could finally live in it and it'd be paid for. And by the time they finish paying for it, they're too old and sick to enjoy it. Who wants to live like that? Well, that way of life will exist no more in a new earth where we simply learn to cooperate. So what would it take for that to happen? Well, everybody has some kind of skill. Everybody has some ability. Everybody has some talent, and everybody can contribute something to the society. So we've made it simple because we can, in fact, create a moneyless system because the earth is free. It does not cost to live. And we say that the first step to participating in this system is to realize that with your mind, heart, and spirit, it does not cost to live. The earth is free. Now, we've had histories of people coming and so-called conquering others, basically killing people and saying, we're taking over your land. Very barbaric. Well, we're not doing that anymore. Not those who will be living on a new earth where there is cooperation. Even though it might exist in the same space as the old earth, but we will not be having the same experience, just like you're not having the experience of the people who got in a fight and someone pulled out a gun and shot someone and someone went to jail right in your city, but you didn't have that experience because you're not of that mindset. It's the same thing. It's people who are going to cooperate are not going to be living in the same reality as those who are refusing to cooperate and therefore are struggling. They'll be right in the same space, but not having the same reality because of the choices they're making to share. And when we really grasp that we have the ability to cooperate and share, then we'll simply choose to do so. And we can create a moneyless society. And so when you empower yourself to do so, to live for free, then you realize how much you truly have. Now, in the last session, we talked about recognizing your abundance that you already have, naming all of the things that you possess that you are not using that can be used. And this is a way to get rid of a lot of the hoarding. If something's broken and you know you're not going to get it fixed, that old TV set that's outdated, you're not going to get it fixed. Take it to the scrap metal place. Take it to the recycling. Either recycle it, toss it out if it can't be recycled. Most things can. So either send it to the recycling where it can be of benefit, or give it a point value. Every item is worth one service point, which you will use to trade. And so we gave you some guidelines on how to make that long list of all of these things you've got stored in bags, boxes, dresser drawers, shelves, because you're going to circulate these things and not keep holding on to that which could be used by someone else. The next step is to name the possessions you have but don't use, and prepare them to be something that you can distribute. That's part of your service points. After that, today we're going to take a look at recognizing the skills you can offer to others. The skills you can offer to others are those things that you can do that could be of help, those things that you like to do. And just like a community of bees, where everybody participates in the enterprise of the community, which is making honey, and they do some parts of it, raising children, making the honey, making the honeycomb. Every community with other species simply cooperates. We can do the same, whether it's driving a truck or planting potatoes, whether it's designing a computer website or doing hair and makeup, whatever it is that you do, that you like, that you enjoy contributing, it makes you feel like you are a part of the society. That's something you can do. If you're in construction, if you know how to repair a hole in the wall, that's important. If you know how to mow a lawn, if you know how to bake a cake, and you like cooking, it's important. So that which you do, and you do well and you enjoy, that's what you want to contribute to the society in which we live. The work that you would do that you would gladly do for free, even if you weren't paid. That's part of the skills. And it's not just one thing, it's many things. Once you start listing the things that you like doing, that you enjoy participating in, there are many things. Now, some people are looking into the future and believing, oh, we'll just have robots do everything and we just sit around and watch TV. Really? How boring is that? Endless, mindless entertainment, not contributing anything. No one of higher consciousness wants to just sit around and do nothing and be entertained, because we are all creative beings and we crave expansion of our minds. There is no joy in idleness. There's joy in creativity. So we desire to create. This is why we're here. We are part of the energy of creation, the one mind that chose to explode out and expand in that big bang that created all of this. And now we're continuing to just create and create and create. So even if we choose to have artificial intelligence, robotics, and other things doing things, even that's a creative process, creating that. It doesn't mean people sit around and do nothing or be useless. So when we look into the future, and many people say, oh, we're not going to have jobs because they're going to take away the jobs with artificial intelligence. Well, we won't have jobs because we won't need jobs. We will live according to a system of cooperation. We will simply contribute that which we enjoy to the society. And there will always be things to do because we will always be creating new things. This is the nature of humanity. This is the nature of life, to create, to expand our minds. So the monetary system will not exist for those of higher consciousness because it's not necessary. We will contribute, and as a result of our contribution, we will receive what we need. There will be those who enjoy farming because they enjoy the communion with the earth and nurturing the plant life and the exchange of air between ourselves and the plants. That's part of the earth experience that we're enjoying. So no, everything is not going to be done by robots. We're going to enjoy nature. We're going to enjoy the physical effort that comes with walking, running, enjoying the air, the water. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to enjoy keeping it clean. We're going to enjoy creating scenery. We're going to enjoy it because we are creative beings. The idea, the fear-based idea that we're going to one day be obsolete because we're going to be replaced by robots, that is not to be. In the world of those who are living according to a loving energy of cooperation. Now, for those who thought, well, if we could force some people to be slaves, then we can live in a perpetual state of leisure. But that didn't work too well, did it? Because how cruel did you have to be to try to beat the life spirit out of somebody and keep them in a state of fear? And then once they decided they didn't fear you and they organized and came to kill you, then you had to sleep with a gun under your pillow because you were so afraid that they might kill you at any moment. How much fun was that? And then when they all got together and decided this system isn't working, and some people said, oh, yes, it is. And then they said, no, it isn't. Then we had to have a nasty war. And now there's no more slavery, except for those that they've put in prison. And the Constitution even says that slavery is legal if you've been in prison. Why are most people in prison? Most of them, it was connected to not having money. Either they were stealing money, killing somebody to get money, or hurting somebody who had money. Most of the crimes have to do with the monetary system that made people fearful that they weren't going to be able to survive because they didn't have money. So it's still tied to this system that we're getting rid of, the monetary system that makes people not share. And once we get rid of that, there will probably be no need for prisons because people will not be afraid that others will not share, and therefore they will not seek to steal and then end up in prison and therefore back in slavery or in slavery if they've never experienced it. So we are liberating humanity with a system of sharing and cooperation so that one live in fear because the earth is free. And all we need to do is simply share. So we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to assist you in the process of recognizing that which you can use and how you will be receiving points for the time you spend in sharing your gifts with the rest of the world. Or first of all, those with whom you are choosing to cooperate. We'll be right back after this quick break, so stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome to Master Force with Mushim Suit. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page, as we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force. Our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending.
Yes, we are ascending. So as we ascend, we are preparing for a lifestyle that allows everyone to participate. And the way service points work is that for every minute you provide a service, you receive a point. So there are 60 minutes in an hour. So every hour is worth 60 points. Very simple. So as you provide service, the person you provide service to issues you service points based on the time that you have provided that service. So are you braiding hair? Are you doing nails? Are you applying makeup? Are you a beautician? Are you doing things that enhance a person? That's a wonderful service. So if it takes you an hour and a half to do these things, then you receive an hour and a half's worth of service points. That's 90 service point for 90 minutes of service. Very simple. So perhaps the person who did your beauty makeover and you gave them 90 service points for an hour and a half of work. Well, maybe what they need, maybe what they desire is for someone to fix the clogged up sink in their kitchen. Well, maybe you're not a plumber, so perhaps you can't do that. But perhaps there is a plumber in your service group that will do that for them. And perhaps the service points that they receive is something that they can then spend somewhere else. Because within your group, you might have a direct trade of points, or you might have a direct trade of services. But the points can be used within the group as currency. Currency is simply something that you collectively agree has value. The paper that we're trading now represents energetically value. So if I am working somewhere for $10 an hour and I work for 5 hours and that's $50, that $50 represents the energy I put forth for 5 hours, if that is the agreed upon currency and rate. So that's all currency is. Now you could have someone who says, well, my service points should be more than 60 points an hour because I'm a brain surgeon. Well, if you're choosing to work with a group that's honoring the point system, then that's 1 point for each minute, because the philosophy behind this system is that all human beings are of equal value. And so that thought is the thought that must be understood by everybody with whom you work within this system. So if you have a plumber and they are within your service group and your beautician received 90 service points from you for doing your beauty makeover, and your plumber took perhaps an hour to fix their sink, well, she's got 60 service points for his hour of time, because he's agreeing that everyone in the group will use this currency of points. And as you honor this point system, honoring the fact that everyone's time is of equal value, then we create a society where all are valued and all have access to this system of points for service. Perhaps some person doesn't have material goods, but they're willing to take a broom and sweep off your front porch and the front of your house and wash your windows. And maybe it took them 2 hours. Well, that's 120 service points that they then can spend with someone who has what they need. Perhaps they need a meal, and perhaps Someone else in your group can serve a meal. And perhaps that meal preparation took 30 minutes. Well, they can pay 30 service points and get a meal. So you see, as we look at what currency is, it's simply a means of exchange that we honor. And this is bartering, but with an opportunity to expand beyond direct trade to trading within the group. Whether there are items that you need, and each item is given 1 point value. If you have a dress that someone else can fit and they've got a skillet that you would use because your old one handle broke, there's a direct exchange there because each item is worth 1 point. So you're not haggling over, well, my skillet, I paid $50 for that. I paid $35 for my dress. You're not haggling over things in the dollar system, the monetary system that exists elsewhere. You are agreeing to the value of the things that you exchange in a way that makes it simple. And everyone is equal. And if you're trading things that you weren't using anyway, then what difference does it make? Don't say I was going to sell it, because if you were going to sell it, you would have sold it and you didn't. So let's just use it in the system of service. So we're going to take one last break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the steps that each person will take in identifying the things that they would like to share in terms of their service, their skills, their talents, their creative energy with those with whom they're going to form a group and begin the process of living in a moneyless society. It can be done. And we will show you how. We'll be right back after this last break. So stay with us.
Leaders of nonprofits empowering worlds. Let's go.
But the vision that God gave me, I felt that it was time for me to step out and work on the vision that God gave me.
We need look no further. We have a unique voice. We have a unique talent pool.
Yes, there are many, many people who are using their creative skills to develop ideas, people who are developing organizations, people who are organizing human beings to collectively initiate actions that solve problems. It's happening all over the world. We are seeing the new world manifest right before our eyes every single day. Which earth are you going to live on? The new earth where there is love, peace, joy, cooperation, harmony, or the old earth where there is conflict, anger, fighting, fear, distrust? It's your choice. Both earths exist right now. Which one are you wishing to contribute to? This system of service gives us all an opportunity to participate in a currency that all of us have. All of us can serve. And we've got a wonderful comment here that reminds us of this principle that we all have the ability to participate in something positive. And as a result of our decision to be a part of something positive, we will see the manifestation of it in our lifetime, in a very short time, because all of us have the capacity to put forth some creative energy to do something for someone else. Even if it's something as simple as washing dishes for someone. People who may not have a job can do things that they would do if they were paid for those who are participating in the system of service. And they can get points, and they can then trade those points for what they need. And this system will ultimately eliminate poverty. And once poverty is eliminated, we will see also the disappearance of crime. It's very simple. And so Drink Hot Tea No Sugar says, much appreciation for this system that solves the problems that we created once the monetary system became so corrupted with greed and cruelty. And now, as it collapses, many around the world are being given inspiration to start something that includes rather than excludes. Well, thank you, Drink Hot Tea No Sugar. And so, as you recognize the skills you can offer to others, we want you to think about the many skills and talents that we have, and there's much work to be done to help others. So what if we just gave our time to others, helping where our abilities are needed? What if we received points for each minute we gave our time to help others, and we use those points to get what we need from others who chose to use their time to help us? A very simple system of exchange. If there's not a direct exchange, there most certainly can be the issuing of points for those who have provided some type of skill, talent, or ability that we need, whether it's repairing your car or washing your windows or helping you take care of your children, tutoring, or even some other kind of creative skill. Maybe you're an artist and you like drawing, painting, and you have artwork. Well, artwork that you would like to contribute, that's a point. It's an item. If you got a painting, oh, I made this painting. Well, that's a point. Now, if you say, well, this should be worth $1,000 because I think this is valuable. Well, if this was an art piece that was sitting in your closet, in the back of your closet, not on the wall, not in the art gallery, this was something that you really were not using and not circulating. That means it had no value until you put it in circulation. And this is what we're saying about being honest with yourself and the things that you're hoarding, that you're not circulating, you're not using. And if you say, I was going to sell it, if you were going to sell it, you would have sold it and you didn't. So use it in service. That's all. Very simple. And if we are willing to admit all of the things that we're hoarding, then we can get rid of all the things we're hoarding and actually give them to those who will value them. And we can receive value. So if we've got 10 paintings, 10 pieces of art, or 10 photographs, whatever it is that you say, well, this is my creative work, but it's sitting in a drawer, no one sees it. Yeah, okay, I put frames on it. I should do whatever you say you think it adds value, but you were not using it. It was something that you're hoarding, holding on to, not circulating, and so therefore it's unused. So give it and receive points in service. That's all. Just do that. So if you decide you're going to do an original art piece, okay, I'm going to paint a portrait. Well, now that's different. That's the activity that you're doing. So perhaps it took you 25 minutes to paint this person's portrait, an original design, an art piece. Well, that's 25 minutes of service. So that's 25 service points. It's not a old painting of something you had stuck in a closet. This is the action, the activity, the creative energy that you took time to do. And so the time that you spend doing something is measured in service points according to 1 point per minute of time that you spend. 60 points in an hour, because there's 60 minutes in an hour. Very simple. So these are things that enable everyone to participate in the exchange of a currency that we agree to honor. And this is a very simple system that all can participate in. So the next session will be part 4. And 4, we want you to prepare to exchange with people that you know, like, and trust, because this is your service group. These are people with whom you will begin to use this currency with. We want you to identify 5 friends that you know, like, and trust. And these are people with whom you will trade service points. Everybody might not be ready to freely share, but at least 5 special friends that you know, like, and trust would be willing to implement this organized system of exchange. This is your service group, and within this group, you can obtain items you need. You can receive the work you need done using a system that establishes equal value for everyone's time and for everyone's possessions. So we will be back with part 4 of service, and that is when we'll help you identify 5 friends that you know, like, and trust. I'm Naima Latif, and it's been a pleasure preparing you to live on a new earth in which everything is free. So until next time, as we always say, to those of higher consciousness, continue to shine your light. We'll see you next time. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com.
On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.